All right, I'm happy to say that I survived the fire alarm. Out of context, I guess that might not make sense to some of you viewers, but I was doing a breakdown of the 49ers defense that was interrupted by a fire alarm in the building that was jarring. So I end it. Not the best spot to end, but we had broken down most of the film. I was just talking about how the 49ers defense has surged under DeMeco Ryans, and I was using 3 plays from the Packers game, and I think I was calm in the pocket, so I think you should subscribe. Even during the fire alarm, I, wrapped up the show. I said I got to go, and now I'm bringing you another episode. So the 3 plays from crunch time, the drive before the 49ers got the ball back to win the game, I thought were emblematic of the moving pieces that the 49ers defense has accomplished to get to where they are. First they pounced on a short passing game. They discouraged Aaron Rodgers from doing this. They discouraged Aaron Rodgers from throwing short to Davante Adams because Dante Johnson and K'Wan Williams would just swallow him up right away. Rodgers tried again on second down, and K'Wan Williams swallowed it up. That was to Randall Cobb this time. DeMeco Ryans was creative. If you noticed on the play before, K'Wan Williams was helping out on the Davante Adams side. On this play, he's helping out on the Randall Cobb side against the slot wide receiver. And then on third down, after we watched this, Aaron Rodgers held onto the ball a little bit longer there. But no. The 49ers said, you're not going after those short plays. On third down, DeMeco Ryans got really exotic. He brought his own blitz, 2 safeties coming in. Aaron Rodgers thought he could prey on the 49ers downfield, but no, you can't prey on Dante Johnson and Talanoa Hufanga because the 49ers have coached those 2 guys up. So you got to credit Ryans. You got to credit the whole staff. I mean, look at this. Here's Tart blitzing. Here's Jimmy Ward blitzing, disrupting Aaron Jones. Here's Aaron Rodgers looking at only one guy because he thinks he has his matchup, but it wasn't a great day for the assassin. I call Aaron Rodgers an assassin because he finds matchups and he goes after them. Tried to go after Josh Norman, too. Didn't work well. Here he's trying to go after Dante Johnson and Talanoa Hufanga, but it doesn't work either. Nice little zone drop right here from Sanson Ebukam. A little drop from Fred Warner. Make sure he can't get anything underneath. And then it was picture perfect. Look at this coverage downfield. You have, you can't, it looks like one person. That's how well covered Davante Adams is. And that would have been DPI earlier in the season. But Hufanga and Dante Johnson did a hell of a job. Anyway, that was what I was getting at. I wanted to show how DeMeco Ryans has, over the course of the season, because it wasn't always this way, I was trying to show how he has allowed that coverage to help fuel the pass rush. And obviously the key to everything, which I'm not going over in this video, I'll make it a separate video about Eric Armstead and DJ Jones, is stopping the run. Because if a team can run, you can't do any of this other stuff, right? You can't take away that short passing game as effectively. You can't pass rush as effectively downstream. It's all connected. It takes a team effort. And DeMeco Ryans, there's a reason why he's getting head coaching interviews right now. And it's because he's leveraging the multiple building blocks to create something great. 49ers defense is like number 20 DVOA earlier in the season. They're now number 5. They might be the most complete defense left. But anyway, that was what I showed earlier. I survived the fire alarm. It's time to take that off the bottom of the screen and tell you guys that this is a video previewing the 49ers and the Rams NFC Championship. And we're going to do a Q&A because I had to leave. So what's up everywhere? What's up to everybody? It's getting late. It's past 11 o'clock. Ask some questions. If you don't ask questions, this won't be a long show because I think I'm going to go look at more tape. I've been watching tape all day. It's been awesome. By the pool. Now inside. Now I'm going to lay down and watch tape. My girlfriend's coming from Nashville to the NFC Championship game as I wait for questions. You might catch her in the crowd. Part of the 80% of 49ers fans that are going to be in SoFi Stadium. SoFi Stadium, SoFi the company, it's like this loan company, right? Student loan company based in San Francisco. It all makes sense now. All right, here we go. From Christian Lemus. Hey, David, I know it's early, but I'm a younger draft analyst. What do you think will be the 49ers' biggest need the following season? Ooh. It's interesting. I mean, it is early, and I'm focusing on the NFC Championship game right now. I can't be thinking about the draft, but I put your question up there. So I have to answer it. You can never have too many pass rushers. Do they want another DB? Maybe, but they've shown that Ambry Thomas is developing this year. They might need a safety. I don't know how much they value those positions to put a premium on them in the top rounds, though. I think the 49ers think they can get a second or third rounder. It's got to be, I think, the trenches. Good football starts in the trenches. The offensive line, I think, is lacking right now for the 49ers. Can they overcome it? Yes, I think Jimmy Garoppolo's done a lot to overcome that right tackle situation with Tom Compton, the right guard situation with Daniel Brunskill. The quick release is nice. The toughness is nice. But if you want offensive sustainability, that line's got to be fortified. And the Aaron Banks pick didn't hit yet, at least, in the second round. So I think the 49ers have to continue making that a priority and the defensive line a priority. I think the trenches, that's the smart move. That's what helps you become a sustainable team. All right, we got plenty of questions now. So we're going to rapid fire this. San Francisco versus Chiefs rematch. I think that's probably likely. I know the 49ers aren't betting favorites against the Rams, but I think I'm a decent analyst, and I think that I know a team that's better than another team when I see one. I think the 49ers are better than the Rams. They beat them 6 straight times. In 7 of the last 9 quarters that the 49ers have faced LA, they've dominated the Rams. They played 9 quarters this year. That's including overtime in Week 18, and the 49ers have controlled the proceedings. So I think they're going to win, and obviously Kansas City is favored over Cincinnati. Although I will note that Kansas City defense can be sketchy, and Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback, but we might see a rematch of 49ers Chiefs. How much of an impact do you think the crowd will have this time around? Big one. It had a big one in Week 18. The 49ers, I think, will essentially have a home game for the NFC Championship, and that should not be underestimated. Can Garoppolo play without throwing an interception? Well, he's played several games without an interception this year. He's played a few with 2. I don't think he's played one with 3. Tannehill had 3 the other day. That was ugly. Here's the thing about Garoppolo. You want to avoid the brain fart throws and decisions, right? So the one against the Packers definitely qualified. It was first down. It was no time to play hero ball. Conditions were bad, and Garoppolo did try to play hero ball, and it didn't work out. Adrian Amos picked off the pass. You want to avoid those interceptions. It's a bad decision. Some interceptions, though, were unavoidable. Jimmy Garoppolo tries to force the ball into some tight windows, and oftentimes it works. That's part of his style, the quick release, the 49ers, propensity to run pass patterns over the middle, to free up the outside zone. That's all part of the plan, and Garoppolo has to fit the ball in there. And sometimes when you do try to fit the ball into a tight window, it's not going to work. There's going to be a pick. Those people who call Jimmy Garoppolo a game manager don't understand that he's way more aggressive than your prototypical game manager. He's taking way more chances than Alex Smith, for example, took in a 49ers uniform. And part of taking chances is going to lead to interceptions. So one pick a game sometimes isn't the worst thing in the world because he is taking those chances, right? You want the interception rate to be lower than it has been at 2.7%. You'd rather have it at 2%, but it's never going to be 0. No quarterback is perfect. The best, anecdote I always say is Joe Montana threw 3 picks before he threw the touchdown pass in the catch. People don't talk about that. It's not like Joe Montana was going out there with 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. Yes, you would love to have a game that's perfect without turning the ball over, but it just sometimes is not realistic. So you want to avoid the brain fart throws. I think it'll be Niners-Bengals. What do you all think, says Rod Turner? That would be a 3-time Super Bowl rematch, right? 81, 88, and then again, the 2021 season. Yes. Any word on Ambry Thomas's status? It's looking better. It's still questionable. We don't know, right now, but his knee is feeling better than it did this weekend as of Monday. What I think of next year's run game with Raheem Mostert and Elijah Mitchell plus Deebo Samuel, well, the 49ers would have to re-sign Raheem Mostert. We'll see what they do. He's recovering right now. But they have Mitchell and they have Deebo Samuel right now. And yes, I'm excited to cover Sunday's game. Who's going to be the dark horse 49ers impact player of the week? Jawan Jennings. He was an impact player against the Rams last time. He is this time. Here's the thing. The 49ers are tougher than the Rams. That's why they've beaten them 6 straight times. Jawan Jennings is a tougher team type of player. He's going to be on the tougher team because Jawan Jennings is a bulldog. He had a huge impact in Week 18. I think he's going to have a big impact in this game. David, why do you think the 49ers' margin of victory has been so slim all season? It's been slim for the entire NFL. There's parity across the entire league. If you're in the playoffs and you're winning in the playoffs, you're ahead of, well, now the 49ers are one of the final 4 teams left. 28 teams have been eliminated. The 49ers are one of the final 4 left. So they're winning. That's, their margin of victory has been bigger than 28 other teams. They're further along. So I don't know if I agree with the exact premise of that question. How does Kyle add a new wrinkle to this offense against the Rams? Well, the 49ers haven't been as great in the red zone recently. Maybe, it always could be Lance, something with Trey Lance in the red zone. I think we have seen the field stretch out horizontally more often than it has in the past. I think as the season has evolved, the 49ers have started using the sidelines more. They got going. It wasn't Garoppolo's fault that first quarter went so bad because there were so many drops. But when they finally got going with his first completion in the second quarter, it was on a great deep out throw to George Kittle. Maybe I can even find it right here because I was cutting up some film earlier today. And unfortunately, I think I put it up on my Twitter, so maybe it will be there, but I don't open it right now. But we're going to have a video on Garoppolo and all that tomorrow. Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford. So make sure you subscribe and check that out. But I think the 49ers, if they get the pass protection that's necessary, that takes running well early so that you can run the play action you need. I do think they can chuck a couple up. I think they stretch the field a little bit. And yes, even with Garoppolo, he can make a lot of these throws. He just doesn't have the time to do it, and the 49ers aren't designed to do it most of the time. But in a situation like this, where you may want to throw something new at the Rams, I do think that you might see some plays that we haven't seen before, because the Rams are very familiar with what the 49ers have already shown. So you want to buck that trend. I think Garoppolo's trade value has been tied to his availability. So by answering the bell and going out there and playing even through the injuries and showing that he can be durable enough to play, I think his trade value is increasing. Right? I think the league knows that Garoppolo can be an efficient quarterback. He can execute systems. But the league isn't sure, and the 49ers weren't sure when they drafted Trey Lance of Jimmy's ability to stay healthy. So I think he's done that. And, of course, the further you get, the more that value goes up. Do I think that this is Jimmy Garoppolo's breakout game? If only he could just move a little bit more. Well, if only Tom Compton could pass block a little bit better. It's tough because, we saw, obviously, the next generation of quarterbacks go at it in that Buffalo-Kansas City game. Those guys are complete studs. And I think that's a lot of the goal with Trey Lance down the road. Okay, Shanahan says we have this physical capability, mobility-wise. We have this cannon. We have a person that we really like. They like Trey Lance, the person, moldable clay. We can turn him into our version of Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. That's the hope. But most of the league is not, developing like Josh Allen did. So you have to temper your expectations. You have to realize the 49ers are happy with what they've seen from Trey Lance so far. But they're dealing with Garoppolo right now. And Garoppolo brings his own set of virtues and his own set of drawbacks. And the biggest drawback with Jimmy Garoppolo is the relative lack of mobility compared to what you have from some of these seismically explosive quarterbacks like we saw in Kansas City and Buffalo. And as far as Garoppolo goes, I think he had a breakout season. I think this was over the course of the full year, and I know he missed a couple games, but his efficiency was better than it was in 2019. It was somewhere in between where it was for the 5-game stretch in 2017 and in 2019. And he executed, and especially those 90-plus yard drives. When push came to shove, Jimmy Garoppolo was getting the job done for the 49ers over the course of the regular season. Then he got hurt. Then he tore the thumb ligament. And he came back for the Rams game, and he's been back for the playoffs. But he hasn't been as efficient as he was in the regular season because he's playing banged up, and the offensive line is playing banged up. He theoretically should be getting healthier every single week. And if that's the case, then maybe he does have a breakout game where he plays a full 60 minutes, where he's accurate throughout the whole time if the 49ers protect him. So I think it comes down to protection, because we know who Garoppolo is, and that's a pocket passer. And, he's got a little elusiveness in the pocket. Before his interception, he got away from some pressure, but then he made the bad decision of throwing the ball. But I really think the key is how well can the 49ers protect for him? And that comes down to full, all 11 offensive execution. Are there some Rams fans on here, or do they get blocked? I wonder if Mike blocked them. If Jimmy Garoppolo wins Sunday, do you think he returns for the next season? It's going to be really hard to get rid of him. I mean, he might not return. I don't know. It depends so much on where the 49ers feel like they are with Trey Lance. But they wouldn't have been in the playoffs this year had Lance been starting. So the calculus is going to have to be, do they think that Lance by next season is so measurably ahead of where he was early this season that the 49ers can afford getting rid of a quarterback who was at the controls when they went to the Super Bowl? It's going to be a fascinating decision for the 49ers. That's all I know. But let's just let it play out. Let's not answer questions before the 49ers answer them, because I don't think the 49ers have answered it. And that's what a good business does. They wait until they actually have to make the decision to make it, to execute it, because you want to collect all the data you need to happen. Keys to the NFC Championship. I mean, I have other videos that really delve into this deeper, but stop the run. The 49ers stopped the run against the Rams in Week 18. Tee off on Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford gets less accurate the more he gets hit, and protect Jimmy Garoppolo enough to where he can deliver. And in the final drive against Green Bay, the 49ers delivered. Now, to protect Garoppolo enough, you have to run. And for Garoppolo to, it's symbiotic, right? The run and the pass is symbiotic. So you got to be balanced against the Rams. The 49ers were balanced against the Rams, and they have been balanced against the Rams in these 6 weeks. So you got to do that offensively and defensively. Stopping the run and hitting Stafford is going to win you the NFC Championship. Garoppolo got better the more he got hit in Week 18, and Stafford got worse the more he got hit in Week 18. So it's the FCS underdog, right, out of Eastern Illinois, and Jimmy Garoppolo that actually out-toughed the SEC former number one pick in Matthew Stafford. Something poetic about that. Maybe it fits with the 49ers season, and it could be an embodiment of the Rams, right, that they're the star power team, and the 49ers out-toughed them in Week 18. Well, if they out-tough them again, they're going to win this NFC Championship. Are the Niners' special teams issues over, or was it just that way? Or just that they played a terrible Green Bay special teams? It might be a little bit of both. 49ers were ranked 27, Green Bay number 32 in special teams DVOA. That being said, they needed the special teams to come back in that game. That helped a lot because other stuff wasn't going quite well. But the conditions are going to be much better in this game. It's going to be under a dome, and it's going to be against a familiar opponent. Matthew Stafford's not as good as Aaron Rodgers. I think the 49ers holding serve on special teams will be enough. Just don't screw it up on special teams. That's what Kyle Shanahan said. That's what I've been saying all season. So I think the don't screw it up part, I think that's well within their reach, and that should be the expectation this season. Well, the thing is that Garoppolo does have an arm. That's what people don't get. What he doesn't have is mobility. That's what confuses people. But when Garoppolo needs to throw one outside the numbers, like the one to Kittle, 20 yards downfield, that's the throw that everybody says he can't make. Yeah, he can make it. John Lynch, if you talk to John Lynch, they always talk about Jimmy's arm talent, arm talent, arm talent. They have for years. They like the arm talent. He threw a nice deep one against the Chicago Bears earlier this season. But when the pass protection can't hold up for longer than 2.8 seconds, you want to limit the amount of deep passes. And it's not just a pass protection. that the 49ers, scheme around. It's the fact that they're better running after the catch than every single defense is at tackling after the catch in the NFL. I've talked about this before. But Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, people don't like to tackle those guys. And when people don't like to tackle those guys, you don't want to give the sideline the benefit of stopping those guys running. So you go to the middle of the field to force defenses to tackle those guys, and you get the ball into their hands quickly so they can rack up the yak. It's all schematic. If and when Jimmy Garoppolo plays for a different offense, I guarantee you he's going to be throwing further downfield because the 49ers are very uniquely constructed from an offensive perspective. So I think that the arm talent question surrounding Garoppolo, it's just not a correct assumption. Whenever he does have a chance to make some of these tougher throws, he actually is able to make them. But there are football's an all 11 game, or all 22 if you want to consider the defense. There's a lot more going on than just that quarterback position. All right, a couple more. This is a good question. In my opinion, how do the Rams beat the 49ers? Well, they overwhelm the 49ers offensive line to the point where Garoppolo can't operate. 49ers make enough mistakes like drops to the point where Garoppolo can't operate, and that allows the Rams to tee off on the pass game. The pass game has to set up the run game for the 49ers. You have to have a credible threat of the pass to run, and if the credible threat of the pass is gone because the 49ers can't protect or they drop too many passes, you'll get a repeat of the first half of the Green Bay game or the first quarter of the Green Bay game. Or too many losing efforts for the 49ers this season have had that blueprint, right? Garoppolo makes too many brain fart and turnovers and interceptions. I mean, that's another way that the Rams can beat the 49ers. Other side of the ball, if the Rams can establish a run game, which I don't think they're going to do, but it's possible. If they can establish a run game, well, then all of a sudden you're looking at Matthew Stafford being able to sit back, working against a pass rush that's not dominating, and then the 49ers are in trouble. So it's all complementary. It's domino effect. If one domino isn't there, it could screw up a whole lot of other things for the 49ers. I agree. Sunday can't be here quick enough. Jennings is great. That's funny. Jenny, that's my ex-girlfriend. I was like, what? What are you talking about? No, he could catch and play to beat the defense. Jawan Jennings is, yes. I mean, he's a gamer. You got to love Jawan Jennings. Don't forget 17-0. What are you talking about? Sorry, I don't get the reference right here. One more game and Kittle's promise to be back in the Super Bowl will be complete. That's a good one. That's a good one. With a vengeance, right? We'll see. I think, and the 49ers hate the Rams. They hate the Rams. Kittle hates the Rams. I know this for a fact. To beat the Rams to get there, that would be special for them. Yes, the 49ers and the Rams are the two most efficient offenses in NFL running max protect, which is keeping a sixth blocker in the formation. And George Kittle first started doing that a lot against the Rams, and the 49ers were overmatched in pass protection. So I think we're going to see it. It's a good thing they have Samuel. It's a good thing they have Ayuk. It's a good thing that they have Jawan Jennings. Because if you have Kittle back in max protect, those other guys better make plays. And they have. And that's why the 49ers are the top two offense, with the Rams being the other top two offense in max protect. So we'll see some max protect from both of these teams. I always leave the opportunity open for Trey Lance packages. And maybe there will be. I mean, Jimmy's playing banged up. So, of course, it's possible. Well, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo try to extend the play before he threw an interception. So I guess it's ironic. I mean, he's just not as athletic and fast as some of your favorite quarterbacks like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Garoppolo does extend when he can. He's not the worst back there. But That's just who he is as a quarterback. His attribute is the release. His attribute is the moxie, the ability to take on a hit and get up and keep on fighting. His leadership. Those are all great attributes. Those are the ones that, aren't celebrated enough. Running with the ball and scrambling around back there, that's not one of his top attributes. Just who he is as a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, Kittle is limping around a little bit, but as long as he's out there with his presence and the blocking, he's a stud. I don't think they trade Garoppolo if they win the Super Bowl. I think he stays. I've been on the record saying that. Let's just see how these games play out. Let's see how they win these games, how they might lose these games. That's what the 49ers are waiting to do. That's why you don't make any firm decisions until you actually have to get to them. Yeah, I mean, the 49ers, Tampa Bay is built to stop the run. They might have been able to stop that 49ers run game. I don't think the Rams are built to stop the run, and the 49ers have demonstrated the ability to run on the Rams. I think this is the matchup the 49ers want. You don't have to travel cross country. There's a lot to like about this matchup against the LA Rams as opposed to the Buccaneers. And obviously, I think you always try to avoid Brady. Brady has a way of making things at least interesting, coming back from a 24-point deficit. I mean, that was special the other day. All right, guys. This has been a good Q&A. I know it's kind of late, though. We'll get better numbers tomorrow. Thank you for everything. Subscribe to the channel. I survived the fire alarm. Those of you who are on the other video, you know that. So make sure you're subscribed so you could watch crazy videos where a fire alarm forces me to cut them short. And I hope you guys like some of these little film breakdowns. When I get to all 22, I can go through some of them. So everybody take care. It's been a good week. It's a big week. 49ers and the Rams for the NFC Championship. That's wild. But we made it. We're here. We're going to be in LA on Sunday. Everybody take